So I saw Caleb Williams' pro day today. NFL Network was showing it. And I think just like the combine, you take the throwing sessions that the quarterbacks do with a grain of salt, right? Because it's tailored to their strengths. If they have a great arm, they'll throw the deep ball. If they're accurate but not a great arm, they'll do the in routes, slants, 15-yard hitches. So, like, you can't really react terribly to a good or a bad pro day. I think Williams looked good. Good arm. He threw a lot of deep passes to his star USC wide receiver, Brendan Rice. And, it was a good pro day. I thought after was better because I thought, like we could discuss if Caleb Williams was a generational talent. What I really want to know is how he's handling this pressure. I think Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, some of the top quarterbacks in the last 10 to 15 years, all three of them handled the pressure very good. They were very good in front of the media. He was on Colin Cowherd on FS1. He was with NFL Network. He did an interview there. He's shy. He's calm. And he is the opposite of outspoken. Is this a good thing? I don't know. All I will say is that with Fields, you could love him or you could hate him. He was a really good guy. He had something about him. He was really good at talking in front of a camera. He was really good at interviews. He was really friendly. He took accountability. He was really calm and collective. And Williams, he may be just shy, but I sensed kind of an awkward interview with Cowherd. Kind of a awkward interview on NFL Network. And his throwing was great. But my biggest concern is off the field. See, there's been reports that he's not a great teammate. There's been reports that he's kind of quiet. There's been reports that he's not a great team leader. That's hugely important when you get drafted number 1, especially to a big city like Chicago wanting to win now. I thought what made Andrew Luck so special was he was a great player, but he was also very smart. He was a Stanford graduate. He was from a wealthy family. He knew to speak in front of a camera. Joe Burrow was a confident kid, good looking. LSU, coming from a wealthy class of people, and his father played football at LSU. Caleb Williams, I'm interested to see how he handles this media frenzy. He looked quiet on FS1. He looked kind of awkward on NFL Network. He didn't say anything wrong, but he was calm. He was to himself. That could be good, but you wonder about his character. You wonder about how he'll handle being in Chicago, being the number 1 draft pick with the team that wants to win now. Because, Andrew Luck, there was no pressure on him to win the first year. Joe Burrow, no pressure. This is arguably, I think, between Fields and Lawrence and Burrow and Williams, the 3 really good quarterbacks the last 5 years, Williams is going into the by far best situation. Trevor Lawrence got paired up with Urban Meyer. That Bengals team had no talent and was relatively young. With Chicago, he has good protection, good head coach, good offensive coordinator, weapons, and a top 10 defense. It's all there waiting for him in Chicago. I just wonder if he's mentally ready. He is physically ready. We saw him throw 65-yard bombs, 55-yard fly routes, 38-yard out routes off of play action. We know he's great. We know he's physically ready. But is he mentally ready? Remember, Andrew Luck was smart, confident, and he knew to speak in front of the media. He went to Indianapolis. Trevor Lawrence went to Jacksonville. Caleb Williams is going to Chicago. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Chicago are different. Chicago, much bigger expectations, much bigger starlight, and much more pressure. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to see in the coming months before the draft. How does Williams handle this media? What does he say? What does he not say? He seemed shy on FS1. He seemed shy on NFL Network. Maybe that's who he is. Maybe that's because this is his first few interviews before becoming a star quarterback. And, I also saw that Ohio State had its pro day today. And C.J. Stroud was there to support his fellow Buckeyes. And Marvin Harrison didn't catch passes. So he skipped the combine, and then he skipped Ohio State's pro day. Some people really don't understand why he would do that. And, his dad was there. His dad joined ESPN with his son, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Sr. The dad is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Won a Super Bowl with the Colts and Peyton Manning. And he broke it down and he said that Marvin Harrison Jr., his son, needs rest. He needs relaxation. He needs to get the mind and the body ready. He doesn't need to have any more pressure on himself. And I think if this was Caleb Williams and he didn't throw, remember, because Caleb didn't throw for the combine. Jaden Daniels didn't throw for the combine. But if Williams went out and said, I'm not throwing for the combine or the pro day, that would be a problem, right? Because QBs, even though the pro days and the combines, the throwing sessions, we take with a grain of salt, if they pass up both of those opportunities, we start to wonder what's wrong with them. Do they have confidence issues? With wide receivers, it's different. With wide receivers, it's more of a feel thing. Do you want to have that pressure on you? Does your body feel ready? And obviously for Marvin Harrison, it doesn't. The one thing I'll say is that 1 year ago at this time, everybody thought that there was a huge talent gap between Marvin Harrison and the next few receivers taken in this year's draft. Speaking with some people, looking at reports, looking at the facts and what the owners and GMs are saying, a lot of people like Romeo Odunze, a lot of people like Malik Neighbors, right? Harrison may go to the Cardinals at 4, but I think if you look at 7, 8, 9, it's a toss-up. I don't think it's a blowout and a guarantee that Marvin Harrison is going to go the first wide receiver in the draft. He's skipped both the combine and the pro day. He has a great athletic ability and catch, but he's hurt. He's missed time. He's a little shy in the camera. There is some concern for Marvin Harrison. Although I understand, because he's not a quarterback, because he wants to relax the body, he could take the combine and the pro day off. But if Malik Neighbors has a really good pro day, gets in front of the camera, says some good stuff, same with the Romeo Odunze, it could be interesting. Harrison right now is the number 1 wide receiver, but it's closer and closer every report I say. Mel Kiper still has Harrison 1, but it's not that much of a difference. Neighbors looks good. Odunze looks good. Harrison, combine and the pro day he skipped out on. Michael Batson Show.